Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about a poem from Mary Oliver, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I just wanted to make sure I have plenty of time to read the poem and to do a little bit of analysis of the poem as well. So just would like to get into it so that we have plenty of time for that. And so the poem is called The Fourth Sign of the Zodiac by Mary Oliver. So what I want to kind of challenge you to do here is to try your best to slow down and to really absorb the words of the poem. Notice how the poem makes you feel. Notice if you're feeling emotions, where the emotions are manifesting in your body. If you can notice the physical sensations that accompany them. So this kind of becomes a part of our meditation in a way, in that it's an opportunity for you to reflect on yourself and on how you experience emotion. And this, of course, can be used as you examine yourself in other situations as well. So, and what if you don't feel emotion as I read the poem? That's something to be observed as well. So, great to have you all. I'm just gonna go ahead and read The Fourth Sign of the Zodiac by Mary Oliver. I know you never intended to be in this world, but you're in it all the same. So why not get started immediately? I mean, belonging to it. There is so much to admire, to weep over, and to write music or poems about. Bless the feet that take you to and fro. Bless the eyes and the listening ears. Bless the tongue, the marvel of taste. Bless touching. You could live 100 years. It's happened. Or not. I am speaking from the fortunate platform of many years, none of which, I think, I ever wasted. Do you need a prod? Do you need a little darkness to get you along? Let me be as urgent as a knife, then, and remind you of Keats. So single of purpose and thinking, for a while, he had a lifetime. So that's the poem. So you don't have to look it up yourself. There is who is Keats? Who is she referring to? And with the name Keats, it's someone who died of tuberculosis at age 25. When he was 8, his father fell off a horse and died. His mother died of tuberculosis when he was 14, and he lived with his grandfather. Right, so just to put that back into perspective, let me be as urgent as a knife, then, and remind you of Keats. So single of purpose and thinking for a while, he had a lifetime. So that's the poem. Feel free to put any analysis of yourself in the chat. So we'll talk about what resonated, if you like, for you inside of this poem. And I'll go and do a little bit of analysis here. So the one theme that really stands out, I think, the most is regarding belonging, right? I know you never intended to be in this world, but you're in it all the same. So why not get started immediately? I mean, belonging to it. And then really the rest of the poem is about belonging to the world. So this is really what I see as kind of the main theme of this poem. And so just in this theme of belonging, I wanted to read a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh out of the book Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. If we look through the eyes of non-duality, we can establish a very close relationship between our heart and the heart of the earth. When we can see that our beautiful earth is not inert matter but a living being, right away something is born in us, some kind of connection, a kind of love. We admire, we love the earth, and we want to be connected. That is the meaning of love, to be one with. And when you love someone, you want to say, I need you. I take refuge in you. It's a kind of prayer, yet it's not superstition. So this feels like belonging. And you know, what's interesting how to connect with our practice is, partially is through compassion and loving kindness practice. I mean, that's one of the things that we do in compassion and loving kindness practice is use techniques, sometimes phrases, to intentionally try to build connection between ourselves and others, and not just others, but in the later steps of the practice of loving kindness, we build our connection to the earth itself and to the universe, because we are not separate from this universe which gave rise to us. You will find that the more that you explore where I end and where something else begins, that the deeper, the more microscopic we get in that exploration, the blurrier the boundary of self and other becomes. And so as we explore that boundary between self and others, we start to begin to see the world in a non-dual sense. And so, I remember the duality was a hard thing for me to get my mind around for a while. And I think that, I struggled to get some good explanations, but I really think of duality as this idea that there are two things. There's me, and then there's everything else, and that really, to me, summarizes duality. Is that there's me, and there's everything that's inside, and then there's everything that's outside. And so Thich Nhat Hanh, and what a lot of Buddhists in general talk about non-duality. Is it possible to break down that barrier between self and other and start to see that, because as you do break down, as you do look at this kind of microscopic detail, you see that the boundary between self and other is blurry and perhaps even imaginary. So Tina says, savor life was the message I got. Liz says, life is short, never guaranteed tomorrow, won't take things for granted. Yes. It's, the name is The Fourth Sign of the Zodiac by Mary Oliver. Although Linda says, I just bought Dog Songs. I don't know if that's related. Feel free to say more, Linda. Okay. And as we'll get started here in our meditation practice. And so what I would like to do in this kind of spirit of belonging and non-duality is to do a compassion, a loving kindness meditation. So get yourself comfortable. Would we'll get going. And I think, one thing about loving kindness meditation is it's different from following the breath. I think that sitting in a position that can perfectly still and focusing on one particular spot in the body is not as necessary in loving kindness practice. So really the main thing here is to make sure that you're comfortable in whatever way you want to do. You can sit comfortably, you can lie down. You don't have to sit up super straight. You can just be at ease. As best you can physically, anyway. And then start to notice the fact that you're breathing. So if you're watching, listening right now, you are breathing. So can you find how the breath moves the body? The body expands as you inhale, contracts as you exhale. Expands, making room for that extra air, that extra volume inside the body as you breathe in. And then contracts, gets smaller as that extra volume goes out of the body. As you concentrate on the breath moving in and out of the body, is it possible for you to notice as the body is exchanging molecules with the gas, with the air? When does that air coming in become a part of me? As we pull oxygen out of the air. And then, still inside of our lungs, our blood donates carbon dioxide to the air. Other waste products of our metabolism. Those carbon dioxide molecules were inside of our cells. Part of the process our cells use to make energy. The oxygen goes into our cells. Is part of that energy making process, that process of keeping us alive. So as we examine closely this process of breathing, feeling the breath going in and out of the body, this sense of me and not me becomes blurry. At what point of my exhalation are those carbon dioxide molecules, is that gas leaving my lungs, not me any longer? So just take a few moments to contemplate this as you examine your breath. And then let's begin to shift into our intentional loving kindness portion of the practice. So slowly changing, because we are already using ourselves as an object in one way as we contemplate the breath. And so focusing our attention on ourselves, on whatever our sense of self is. Maybe it's the body, maybe it's our mind, our memories, our emotions. Even after this non-duality beginning of practice, it may be a bit challenging to discover self again. And it's okay if it's still a bit blurry. So is it possible to hold ourselves in a field of unconditional love? To know that we do not need to be worthy, we do not need to be deserving in any way. Is it possible for us to simply love ourselves right now in this moment, the only moment that exists, as we are right now in this moment? There is no other moment to love yourself except for right now. So why not get started? And sometimes as we do this practice, we hear objections, we hear things in our inner monologue that tell us that we shouldn't do this practice, that we don't deserve this. Whatever kind of objections come up, just treat them as any other distraction you may have in your meditation process. Just try your best to let go of those unhelpful thoughts and return to this feeling, these thoughts of unconditional love towards yourself. And some of us may find it challenging to cultivate intentionally an unconditional love towards ourselves. So is it possible just to repeat a few phrases to aid in loving ourselves? So if you like repeating after me, you can repeat out loud if you like. You can repeat in your head, whatever's most convenient for you. May I be happy and contented. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible for me. May I be healthy and whole. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. And so see how this feels. And then some may protest. Wait a minute, we were just doing this non-duality kind of practice. Why am I focusing on myself? We were talking about connection with the earth, with others. Why am I focusing on myself? Because you will discover that you are not separate from this universe. And in fact, let's even break it down a bit closer to home. You are not separate from the other human beings on this planet. That you share 99.9%. You have so much in common with everyone else. And the things that you think you have that are different from others are minuscule in comparison to the things that you have in common. For some reason, our minds always want to look at what we see as different. But in fact, there's so much that's the same. And so as we practice loving kindness to ourselves, we are not only loving ourselves, but we're loving this part of ourselves that exists in every single other human being on the planet. As we care for ourselves, as we wish ourselves happiness, as we wish ourselves good health, as we wish safety for ourselves and peace. Through wishing it for ourselves, we also wish it for every other person on the planet. And then as we dig further down, you see that we have two eyes, just like most multi-celled organisms on the planet. We have two nostrils, we have one heart, we have two lungs. We have so much in common with so many of the other children of the earth. And so we can begin to even see all that is coming out of this living being, our home, the earth. So I don't mean to be animistic in any way. But maybe there is some gratitude for this planet, even reaching out to this universe that gave rise to us. And so as we get closer to the end of our practice, let's see if it's possible to reach out our loving kindness. So, in the spirit of this non-duality, may I be happy and contented. May the earth and the entire universe be happy and contented. May the earth and the entire universe be safe and protected and free from harm. May the earth and the entire universe be healthy and whole and complete. May the earth and the entire universe be at peace. So now I invite you to come back to your breath. examining once again this simple yet complex boundary between myself and the outside world. Feeling the air coming in, the air going out, in and out as we continuously commune with the environment around us. So now I'm going to begin drawing our practice to its close by ringing the bell 3 times. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking this time to practice with me. Any reflections on today's practice? How did it go? What came up for you? Any talk about Mary Oliver? Mary Oliver's got a lot of good poems. She's from my native Ohio, so it's one thing I personally really love about reading her poems is that I can see scenes from my hometown when I read some of her work. So that it really, really resonates with me. I mean, Mary Oliver's work is just fantastic in general, but I think I get a special little bonus when I read her work. Tina talks about interbeing. I know I saw that show up right before our meditation started. That's another Thich Nhat Hanh idea, and or a word that Thich Nhat Hanh has used, and I do love that idea. Interbeing, right? That we are, it's like interconnection, but it's a word to kind of bring it to another level. Because this present moment is shared by me, and it's shared by you, and the concept of time is something that's still a bit of a mystery to human beings. I've heard scientists talk about time as like a 4th dimension, but it isn't really a 4th dimension. Because in here in 3-dimensional space, I can move this way, and I can move this way. I can move this way. I can move this way. In time, and I can change the speed at which I move in these directions. Right? Time, I just move in one direction at a constant speed for my entire existence. And of course, if you want to really dig into the nitty-gritty, there's some loopholes there, but you know what I mean. But what I think is really special, too, when it comes to interbeing, is that we all are sharing this moment. Even though, I don't see all of you in my living room right now. But, in a way, we are together. We are all together in this moment across the universe. And that's something that's special. Yeah, so Linda, the topic today was Mary Oliver, the Mary Oliver poem, The Fourth Sign of the Zodiac. If you missed it, there is a recording I'll be putting up on YouTube later today, so you can feel free to check that out. If you missed anything, you can also read the poem yourself if you'd like to look at it more and contemplate it. And this practice is, I mean, if you don't do loving kindness practice often, this is perhaps a reminder as to why we do it. It's different from mindfulness practice, and it's done with the intent to give you that extra little bit of equipment during really difficult emotional situations. Sometimes paying attention to difficult sensations alone is not enough for you to get through what is really challenging for you in that moment. And sometimes the loving kindness practice towards yourself, first of all, knowing that, hey, I'm a imperfect human being and I'm gonna have a hard time. That's a great beginning. It's a great way to reflect on any situation that you're going through when you're feeling challenging emotions and maybe doing things that you wish you weren't doing. And then you start to see, wait a minute, I'm a little bit out of control right now. And furthermore, so after maybe that first step, to also see if you're having an encounter with another person, that this intentional loving kindness towards the other person can immediately begin to diffuse the situation, as you see that this person is not separate from me, that we share this common humanity. And this person's behavior, as bizarre as it may seem to me at this moment, is something that they think is going to benefit them right now or in the long run, or something like that. All right. Thanks for joining today. Hope you enjoy the practice. The next topic is on this coming Thursday is, can the 9 attitudes of MBSR cause harm? So we've talked about the 9 attitudes, what's the way that we can approach practice with those 9 attitudes, but I really recognize that sometimes these attitudes are misinterpreted and can be counterproductive to you in the way that you encounter your life and the world around you. So I just want to talk through those. I think the most common misconception is about what non-judging means. So we're going to go ahead and get into that next time. So yeah, I don't know, he's somewhere causing trouble, probably. All right, let's send our well wishes out to each other and to ourselves. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May the earth and the entire universe be happy and peaceful. Wish you all the best. Have a great day or evening wherever you are. I'll see you again in about 48 hours. Until then, bye-bye.